Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. I apologize for my voice. I hope I don't look like I'm about to die, because I sort of feel that way. I think I have a sinus infection. It is self-diagnosed, I admit. But I know I sound kind of disgusting. I can't help it. There's nothing I can do. I guess I could go to the doctor, but I'm not going to.
You haven't been to the doctor?
No, I'm not. I know what they're going to say. They're going to say rest and drink more fluids. That's what they're going to say. But if this isn't better in a couple of days, I'm going to have to break down.
They might give you penicillin or something.
I know, but
I have an infection.
I'm trying to conquer it without that
yes,
sort of thing.
I understand.
But I'm caving. I'm weakening on that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sustain my perseverance. Anyway, I made it to the board meeting last night. Did not make it last week, and it was okay. Except I just probably sounded horrible. Last night, okay. We had some announcements. The 2012 annual town meeting warrant is currently open for the submission of citizen warrant articles until November 14th. You need to have the signatures of at least 10 registered voters. We have how to prepare a warrant article sessions scheduled with town council. Actually, we had one yesterday. The next one is scheduled for next Wednesday, the 26th of October at 2 o'clock in the town building conference room. So if you're interested in preparing a warrant article, you might want to make a visit to town council so he can talk to you about your idea. There's a citizen planner workshop on Monday the 24th. There are two sessions, one at 2 o'clock, one at I think 6:30. I didn't bring the thing with me, but there's a big ad in the paper about this. We have there was an energy forum, that's today at 5. And we had this keep the lights on after school proclamation thing. Okay, we had a couple of resignations, some gift acceptances, a curb cut issue which got tabled to next week, a telephone petition, Health and Human Services funding recommendation process for fiscal 13. That was just, most people probably aren't terribly interested in this, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but annually, the town provides an amount of money for health and human services agencies to provide particular services to the community. And we were talking about the process to make recommendations on how that funding is allocated. So that was what the discussion was.
Well, what does the town give?
The town gives approximately $317,000. That's for 13. That's the projection for 13. It's given between 300 and 400-ish. In the past, annually. It's approved at town meeting. There's a group that reviews the proposals. So what we're trying to do, though, is focus the proposals so that in the past we haven't issued an RFP, a request for proposals, telling people what we want. They just submit the proposals asking for money to do what they want, which very often corresponds to what we want, but not maybe always. So this is more of an attempt to focus the proposals to what our needs are. It seems to make sense. We also talked about we had an RFP out for a forensic audit for certain airport matters, and we received some proposals back. We're going to be making a recommendation soon. Myself and some other people are on a review group that reviewed the proposals yesterday, and we're going to hopefully interview the respondents. So more to follow on that. We talked about a memorandum of understanding that the board and town administration and the airport have signed regarding procurement administration at the airport and how that's going. That's going to be a weekly update for the foreseeable future. We had a monthly update. We've been doing this once a month for months now about what town administration and the finance department are doing towards resolving audit issues from fiscal 10. Things are pretty well on track. There's been a couple of delays, but nothing fatal, nothing out of the ordinary. The board has asked that our auditor attend a board meeting sometime soon to sort of confirm what we're saying. Of course, we're saying it's all good. Well, we know it's not all good, but we're saying we're on track. They want our auditor to come in and confirm that. And the auditor has actually come to some audit committee meetings to confirm that, but this would be the full board hearing it. We had our Natural Resources Coordinator come in and give a general update on some Conservation Commission activities. And I think that was about it. There might have been some other committee talk by the board at the end of the meeting, but I don't really remember. I was foggy. Next week, October 26th, we have a quick county meeting for, I think this was for an easement acquisition for right-of-way purposes for the perhaps soon-to-be, I hope that's not daringly optimistic, of the Hammock Pond Road bike path. Separate county meeting. At the regular board meeting, we have another reminder about the town meeting warrant, open for citizen article petitions. We have some land issues. We are going to have the fire chief and the Wannacomet Water Company manager in to review, oops, this is supposed to go away, water service and fire protection around the island. We have a couple of disclosure issues, and that water service fire protection thing came up over the summer. There are a couple of larger areas where there is no water service, which also means there's not really specific fire protection, although there are underground water, I forget what they're called, wells kind of, I guess, that are available for fire protection in these areas. Madigan and Tom Nevers most specifically. There may be other pockets here and there. And anyway, the chairman and I attended a Tom Nevers Civic Association annual meeting in August, and there was a lot of question about this, and people wanted to understand a little bit more where the water service is and is not, and in places where it is not, what is the protocol, what's the arrangement. So they're going to come and talk about that. Our Island Home will be discussing their first quarter report for fiscal 12, and we have annual town health insurance review. We've been having our health insurance consultant come in annually to review with the board projections for the coming year, history, trends, new things in the world of health insurance, and there has been a Health Insurance Reform Act, that might not be the exact name of it, but that's close enough, enacted in July of 2011 that does affect all municipalities. So we're going to get a little update on that from him. We are reviewing another real estate item. So that is basically it. Greg and I were off island today, which in retrospect, the plane ride was a little hard on my sinus problem.
That water out there is crazy too.
Oh my God, going over it wasn't so bad, but coming back, whoa! You could have called today Hurricane Earl.
Yeah.
If you remember back, worse than Hurricane Earl. But we went to a conference sponsored by the Mass Municipal Managers Association, and it was on local media and blogging. Very interesting. Lots of concern about anonymous blogs, and lots of concern also about the ability of the public to express opinions and concerns. Really, really interesting. I'm glad we went, although as soon as we got over there, I wanted to come home.
What did you find out?
There were a couple of there was a town manager, there was a panelist, and there were a couple of people from, there was a guy from a newspaper in the Boston area, and a guy from State House News, I think that's what it's called, and there's an online thing. So for example, there's a newspaper article, and you can comment on the article. And a lot of the concern was about that some of these comments are anonymous. And people tend sometimes to get very personal about some of the people who are the subject of the article. And some of the concerns that were expressed by some other of the managers were things like, sometimes people get really personal, like talking about the individuals, children, family, spouses, things like that. And when you come down to someone's children, that is just off limits as far as a lot of people are concerned, but not everybody feels that way. So how far do you go and how far do you not go, and what can municipality officials do to get information out there? And there was some concern about the accuracy of information that's put out there. A lot of times it is not accurate, and people read it and sometimes they believe it, or just it gets spread around, and pretty soon when stuff gets spread around like that,
is that more of an issue there than it is here, though?
Well, it's an issue here, but it is definitely more of an issue in other places. I mean, we got a recent publication that's put out by the MMA. It's called the Advocate. and there was the issue is pretty much devoted to this topic, and there are people in other towns who have stepped down and will not run for public office because of the viciousness that can occur in these venues. So it's a problem, but on the other hand, there is, you know, a free speech concern and stuff like that. So it was just really interesting.
You know, allowing yourself to be anonymous without being rude can actually bring
help
the point up.
That it can, depending on how you put it forward. And then, you know, there's the other side of that, which is people should take the responsibility of their remarks and actions and put their name on it. But I agree. Sometimes there's perhaps, in some cases, not all, legitimate fear of retaliation.
Right.
So it's sticky. It's a bit sticky, but it was really interesting. So we were glad that we went. What else is going on? I think that's it. We've had a couple of fairly, dare I say, short selectmen's meetings.
I know.
But that is not permanent. Believe me, it is not. I think we're going to have a little bit of a longer meeting next week, and once we start getting into the budget and town meeting, that's all over.
You got it.
Anyway, so that's the season. Budget and town meeting. We're spending a lot of time on that stuff, and you know, there's a billion other things also. I've got all these little notes all over my desk of things I got to do. Anyway, what are you hearing, Gino? Anything?
Not much. That's it. It's all good.
Oh,
yeah.
I should mention. Have you gone down Washington Street in the last 48 hours or so?
No.
If you go down Washington Street, out of town, on the left, at the Land Bank little new park thing, there's some interesting creatures that have appeared there. Check it out. That's all I'll say.
All right.
But I have to take a second look at them because I wasn't sure if they were real or not. I don't think they're real, but they're kind of cool. So check it out. That is all for now. See you next time.